Blog Talk Radio.
Hello.
All right. Hey, welcome back, everyone, to Alpha Star Radio. I am your host, Linda. I have a great show in store for you this evening, and I hope everybody's having a great Friday night out there. TGIF, baby. I don't know what kind of week you guys had, but I am delighted it is Friday, and I'm off for a few days from work. Yay! Anyway, I have a great show in store. My guest tonight, he has founded Ghost Paranormal, and this actually what began as a look into the paranormal has led him to over 265 investigations. He has a web series on 5 internet networks all over the world. You can enjoy this. You can view this. He has weekly viewers of over 800,000, which is a million we're clocking at here. I'm going to have to check that out myself. He has appeared on 4 TV shows. His most recognized, I guess, it would be My Ghost Story on the Bio Channel and Ghost Adventures cruise show, Aftershocks, which I'm very familiar with. I watch that all the time. And that's also seen on the Travel Channel. He's done 45 radio show appearances, and I guess you can add 46 to that now since he's on my show tonight, along with a whole host of other things that I'm going to save for him to talk about this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest, Richard Ruland. Richard, good evening.
Good evening, Linda. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Glad to have you here this evening. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate it very much.
Well, I'm excited to have you on, and after looking at your bio, it's very impressive. And so what I want to ask you, you founded Ghost Paranormal in 2011, and you said that what began as just a look into the paranormal led to 265-plus investigations. Was that like your first time really getting into the paranormal? And, explain a little bit to us how this all occurred.
Yeah, honestly, no. I've been in it for a long time, a long number of years, but nothing as organized as my own team. I've worked on other teams as lead investigator, things like that. And a couple of friends of mine and I, that team dissolved and disbanded. And a couple of friends of mine and I were talking, hey, let's, for fun, let's take a look and go in a couple of places and, see what we can catch, yada, 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 It was designed to be what the thing says, just a look into the paranormal. And then it just led to, we were doing 2 or 3 investigations a week, because we also do cleansings, and blessings. So if we're here to help people as well as just talk to the other side. So it went from, visiting a couple of places for fun hunts, as I call them, where you pay to go. And then it really brought itself and involved itself to a lot of residential investigations and a mix of a couple of places that we actually managed for a while, where we were doing, 4 to 6 tours a month per location, 2 times a month. So that was like 12 to 15, hunts in 1 month. It was pretty crazy, and it got more and more progressive. And then we were introduced to a network that said, hey, you guys video yourself. Why don't you put yourself on a network with us? And I'm like, okay, fine. And then 1 led to 2, 2 led to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. One of them is Frequency Television, which is actually Columbia University in Chicago that actually has given us our own channel on their campus television network. They've got 25,000 or so students that go there, student body. So we actually have our own channel at Frequency Television. A majority of our viewers are actually on Roku. We have over 600,000 Roku viewers weekly. And the majority of those, what's really crazy is the majority of them are over in Europe. And I researched it, and I found out why. They don't really have like a sci-fi and a travel channel type show. They have Roku. So somehow we just kind of snowballed from, 3,000, 30,000, 300,000, and it got to a point where we were getting invitations, and we still are, from a lot of different places in the UK, wanting us to come out and do investigations, do events in the UK, and our fan base is growing bigger and bigger every week in the UK. And I'm getting a lot of friend requests on Facebook from everybody in the UK, and I'm like, okay, this has gotten crazy. And it's a real big enjoyment, a lot of work. We actually had a production company take over our shows 4 shows ago. They took over. I mean, it looks a lot more professional. It's it's more of a commercialized type show. We're not as dramatic as a couple of people on TV are, and theatrical. and I'll leave it at that.
I know. That's good.
Oh my God. No, you're not going to get, oh, my God, out of me. It's unless somebody actually grabs me by the back of the neck and hurls me 5 feet, I'm not going to go, oh, my God. So it's, to me, it's, the audience gets to see the evidence. We insert the EVPs in a show like a lot of shows do now. So the audience really kind of gets involved. We've done a lot to make sure that the viewer doesn't get bored. I mean, it really was funny. It started out being this thing of a couple of guys and a couple of friends getting together, and it's blossomed into, we've done 2 show pilots, and we're working on a 3rd now for network television. And it's just kind of really snowballed into this huge thing in a matter of 5 years. And,
that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. It is. It's just a lot of work. I think the funny thing is that people who watch the shows, the fans, we love them to tears, but they don't realize how much work really goes into those shows. It's really amazing. I mean, 9, 13, 16-hour days. We've had 14 and 16-hour days, 2 days in a row to do one show.
Oh, wow.
For 42 minutes.
Now, can I ask you a quick question? Is that the norm? Like when you watch these shows on TV, like Aftershocks and all these other, is that the norm for a normal recording for one series?
Well, I think honestly, Aftershocks is such a localized show. You're not really on location. You're not really doing a whole lot of research. That showpiece, there were 2 shows or 2 locations on each show for Aftershocks. The location I did was Hales Bar Dam here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. There were 3 people involved in that storyline. 4 people involved in that storyline. So, I mean, we were in and out and done. Both locations were done filming in one day. But typically, I know it is with Ghost Asylum. I know a couple of guys in there were friends on Ghost Asylum on This Station America. They'll do what we do. They go out 2-3 days, most likely 3 days, and they'll do a daytime scout, interviews. It takes literally You could go 3 days on a real shoot, and that's typical what people will do 3 to 4 days. Like Dead Files, Steve Dushabi and I are friends, and he's talked to me. He's like 4 to 5 days sometimes because they do so many different pieces of the show. During the daytime, and his piece is always during the daytime. So it'll go 3 or 4 days. But the typical show, it'll go 3 to 4 days to get a 42-minute show out of it. Because that's what an hour-long show comes down to, is 42 minutes.
I don't think people realize. In fact, I have a younger daughter who loves all the everything. In fact, I think one day you're going to have a mini paranormal investigator. She's into everything paranormal, the Dead Files, Aftershocks, this show, that show. Wait, and when I tell her when she comes home how long it takes to make a 45-minute show, I think that she's going to be floored by that.
Well, I mean, honestly, we weren't prepared either until the production company stepped in 4 shows ago. The last show that we did, before we went on a hiatus was called the Lincoln County Hospital. The old Lincoln County Hospital was done. Ghost Adventures just filmed there. What's funny is one of the fans on our show saw the show, contacted Jeff Berlinger, who's GAC's location manager, sent him a message saying, hey, these guys did this place. Here's their show. I guess evidently Jeff looked at the show, and then he booked them there as well. So they've done the same location. But Ghost Asylum is bringing me in for their filming of that same location in the next 4 months.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I mean, it's just really funny how people don't get it. But the production companies, they have to go through so much. I mean, the interview and the scene set up, and the shoot, the right angle, and the intro, and the lead in and lead outs. I'm like, oh my God! Before the production came on board, it was me, a camera guy, and a team, and we were just videoing as we went. Yeah, you did 11, 12-hour investigation, but it was your show too. You just had to drill it down to a 1-hour show and move on. And now you get people who do television for a living, and they're putting video intros, like the intro for their show, the Lincoln County Hospital, which is also available on YouTube as well under Hunting the Unknown Truth, which is the name of our show. But you can see the Lincoln County Hospital. The video segment in the beginning of the show, the intro, is actually, from what I was told by the producer, actually taken from video clips from that hospital back in the 30s and the 40s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that stuff you see on the video intro actually happened, which I thought was cool because people can, get an idea from what everybody went through back then, why the place is so lit up. But there's so much involved. There's so many, I got to do voice intros and voiceovers. I'm like, dude, I just want to hand the camera off to somebody and let's go. But it's changed so much. I mean, I've got a production company now in Orlando, producer down in Orlando now that has taken over all the editing and production for this show. And it's just, there's so many people involved, and it gets tiresome. It really does. It takes a little bit of the fun out of it. And for me, honestly, I've got to step back and I got to laugh at the production people because the first time I shot a show, Lincoln County Hospital was one of the biggest shoots we ever did. It was a 2-day shoot. It was 2, 12, 14-hour days. And I get this thing handed to me, and it's a schedule. I'm like, what's this? Well, talent doesn't have to show up to the location until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. What? See, from this team of people going into a building to, we get the interviews done first, and then we bring in the production people, get the production set up, get B-roll done, then we bring in the talent. So it's just really crazy, really crazy.
Well, I have a question for you, and I'm curious about this because I have a friend I believe has this ability, and I don't think she was aware of this ability until I took her on her very first paranormal investigation to the USS Hornet up here in Alameda, and I'm in California, so it's the haunted ghost ship, the Hornet.
Right.
It's I want to talk about clairaudience, and what is that exactly? Because I think she's got it.
Clairaudience, and it's funny is I went through a lot of years thinking, did somebody just say something? And I go through that, and I was going through it for a long time too with my wife, and I'd wake her up. What did you say? I didn't say anything, honey. God bless her heart. She's gotten used to it now, and I've gotten used to the fact that it's happened. And what it really is the ability for the other side to communicate to you audibly, where other people might not even hear it. Here's a case in point. We were doing a private residence in my area in Dayton, Tennessee, and we were doing a walkthrough in the afternoon. Me and a couple of my other guys and the homeowner. And we were walking through, talking with her about where the hot spots are, things like that. And we get to her master bedroom. And I will let me preface it by saying this. The more you're involved in the paranormal, the more open and enhanced your abilities become. So at this point, it's been a couple of years. And I'm in this house, and she goes to ask me a question. I always carry a digital recorder on and recording the entire time we're doing a walkthrough because you never know what you're going to get.
Right.
So I'm listening, I'm listening to her talk to me, and she asked me a question. What's funny is, and I can't remember the question, which is really ticking me off, but